Okay, so let's be real. If you're a developer, you've used Postman. You fired up a request to an API, checked the response, and moved on. It's the standard. But what if I told you that's like using a Formula One car just to drive to the grocery store? Today, we're going to look at all the power you're leaving on the table. And this quote right here, it nails the whole point of this explainer. Postman isn't just that simple REST client anymore. It is morphed into a full-blown collaborative API platform that's meant to plug into every single part of your development lifecycle, from the very first design doc all the way to monitoring in production. It's time to see the whole nap.
So what are these superpowers you're not using? What are the features that can completely change how fast you build, how good your docs are, and how well your team actually works together? Let's get into it.
All right, first up, we're going to start with testing, because it feels familiar. But we're pushing way past just sending one little GET request and seeing if it works. We're talking about building an entire automated quality system right inside Postman itself. You know that Tests tab? The one right next to where you put your params and headers? That is your new command center. You can use plain old JavaScript in there to write actual tests that check everything about the response. Is the status code right? Does it have the correct header? Does a JSON body match the schema you expect? This is how you go from just poking at an API to building a reliable, repeatable contract. And check out how clean this is. If you've ever written any JavaScript tests, this probably looks super familiar because it's built on the Chai assertion library. You just write pm.test, give it a human-readable name like status code is 200, and then inside you have this beautiful chainable line, pm.response.to.have.status 200. You can just stack these up to create a really solid test for any endpoint. So let's think about the before and after. The old way, you make a change, you manually hit the endpoint. You have URLs hard-coded, maybe tokens too. What a pain. The Postman way is just so much better. You use the collection runner to fire off your entire test suite with one click. And you use environment variables, like that -- base URL, to run the exact same tests against local, staging, and prod, just by switching a dropdown. You're basically doing test-driven development for your API. Now here's the real magic. These tests aren't stuck inside the Postman app. This is where Newman, Postman's command line tool, becomes an absolute game changer. Newman lets you run your collections from anywhere you can run a script. And that's the key that unlocks your CI/CD pipeline. And this is how simple it is. Seriously, this is a command you drop into a GitHub action or any CI script. Newman run, and you point it to your collection file. That little -e flag, that's where you tell it which environment file to use, your dev one, your staging one, whatever. And the best part is, if a single test fails, Newman fails, and your whole pipeline stops. This is how you prevent a bad deployment from ever breaking your API contract. It's automated quality control. Okay, so your quality is automated. That's huge. But let's see how we can use Postman to get the whole team. I'm talking front-end, back-end, QA, everyone, working together to ship features way, way faster. Come on, we've all lived this nightmare. The front-end team is ready to go. They're ready to build that awesome new UI, but they can't. They're blocked, just waiting for the back-end team to finish and deploy the API. Well, Postman's solution here is mock servers. You just define your endpoint, you save an example response, and poof, Postman gives you a live URL that returns that exact JSON. Your front-end team can start building against a stable API from day one. That's true parallel development. And speaking of nightmares, let's talk about this one. It's the age-old problem, as the source puts it. We've all seen it. The API docs say one thing, but the API actually does something else. Outdated docs are worse than no docs at all, because they just lie to you. Postman's solution is brilliant because it's so simple. The documentation isn't a separate Word doc or a wiki page. It's just a live, dynamic view of your collection. And because those docs are generated from the exact same collection that you use for your automated tests, they can't be out of date. If the test passes, the documentation is correct, period. This one idea completely kills the problem of documentation rot. So how do you wrangle all this stuff with a whole team? Stop emailing collection files. Stop pasting API keys into Slack. Just stop. Postman workspaces are your single source of truth.
It's a shared space where you can manage collections, share environments with actual access controls for your secrets, and even have threaded conversations right on a specific API request. It's the glue that holds your whole team's API workflow together. Okay, so we've nailed automated testing and team collaboration. But Postman's ambitions are even bigger than that. It's really aiming to be the one tool you need no matter what kind of API you're working with.
And that's the key takeaway here. It's not just for REST APIs anymore. I mean, look at this. It has incredible support for GraphQL, complete with schema introspection so you get that sweet auto-completion on your queries. It can handle real-time connections with WebSockets for things like chat apps, and it's even got great support for gRPC, which is huge in the microservices world. It's really becoming the Swiss Army knife for any API you can throw at it.
And you can take those test collections one step further with monitors. Think about it. You can schedule a collection to run on a timer, like every 5 minutes, from servers all around the world. As the chart shows, you could use it for simple uptime checks, for enforcing SLAs between your own services, or even just to make sure a critical third-party API you rely on is still healthy. And if anything fails, you get an alert on Slack, PagerDuty, wherever you need it.
All right, let's pull all of this together. Let's see what a really modern, efficient workflow that's built on top of the Postman platform actually looks like in practice. And a perfect example of this is a feature called Postman Flows. This is a low-code visual way to chain API calls together. You literally drag and drop blocks on a canvas. You can make a call to one API, grab some data out of its response, loop through it, and then use that data to make another API call. You could build an entire business process, like onboarding a new user and sending them a welcome email, without writing a single line of custom code. It's amazing for prototyping and automating complex chores. So, with all this cool stuff, where do you even start? The source material gives a fantastic, super practical tip. On your very next project, don't just use Postman as an afterthought. Start by creating a workspace for it. Create one collection, add a couple of simple tests, set up your dev and staging environments. That tiny bit of setup at the beginning will pay off huge, and you'll be amazed at how much faster your whole team starts moving. We have covered so much ground here. CI/CD, mock servers, visual workflows, you name it. But honestly, we've just scratched the surface. So I want to end by asking you, what's your favorite Postman hidden gem? What's the one feature that you discovered that totally changed the game for you? Because a tool this deep always has more to explore.